How's everybody doing today? Welcome back to The Right Stuff, your favorite podcast for writing and stuff. I'm Andrew, this is Peyton, and today we have the Jacks. They're both named Jack.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you.
Loving it.
Yeah, so today we really wanted to dive into genre and how over the course of time you've kind of learned about different genres and found your own personal style of writing. So starting with you, JK, I know you're very excited to talk about this. What's your favorite genre of writing, and then how did you find that?
I would actually have to say what we did for our projects this year, the investigative essay. It was really nice because, I was able to write stuff that I was passionate about. So I really felt really connected with the actual essay. So,
What was the topic of that essay?
I actually wrote 2 investigative essays. One of them was about the star for the New York Knicks, Jalen Brunson, and how he was doubted by every single reporter and analyst when he first signed with the Knicks. And then the next one was about the New York Jets and how they have basically been a crumbling franchise the past 15 years. And I basically did a deep dive into all the things that added to it, sort of like signings, trades, the actual owner, the fan base, and stuff like that.
What about you, Jay? What was your favorite style of writing, genre, and how'd you find that?
Yeah, so this year, my first project was a beginner's guide. And I think one reason why I really like beginner's guides is because I get to take a topic in which I'm very knowledgeable about, and I get to dumb it down almost and like spread the knowledge to people who don't know anything really about the topic. So that's what I did. So my project one.
Sorry about that.
So my project one was about Texas to bottom, which is a chest condition that I have, and not many people really know all about it. So I kind of just took my own knowledge about it and did some research, and I made a beginner's guide for people to just learn about it, and it can also help people that even have it and don't know what to do about it.
Gotcha. So how are you going to take that into the future if you think about taking other writing classes and English classes? Are you going to try to turn more assignments into that, or?
Well, definitely I would say it's definitely an easy thing to turn an assignment into because you get to take something which could require a lot of research and you get to like make it your own almost and kind of like ease the language almost so your readers can understand the topic more. But I mean, not necessarily I wouldn't try to change my writing to always make it that way because sometimes a research article, like my second project was a pop science article, sometimes doing all that research and learning about something new is also very fun.
I'd say, for both of you, I'm curious, would you say it was, compared to past writing assignments in high school, let's say, do you think it was it easier to write about stuff that you were more passionate about or a little bit more challenging? Maybe to find stuff you're more like, you didn't know, but let's take the Knicks, for example, with Jalen Brunson. You're a very big sports guy. Was there something that you had to learn new about Jalen Brunson that you didn't know that made it harder to write about because you're already so knowledgeable about sports? Same with you. Is that something like you found challenging or easy to write about?
Compared to past high school assignments, first, I felt like this was a lot easier to write about because there was no set topic. Everyone was able to have a different topic and a different genre, so it made it a little bit easier. So I chose something that I was obviously passionate about, that I know that I can write about in full detail. In terms of finding stuff that, I didn't know, I obviously did find that out. A lot of then questions came about, which led to a lot more research, which I thought was really good because then I was able to really get the whole story instead of just aiming at certain parts of it when it didn't really make a lot of sense. So the goal with that was really trying to make sure the whole story was in the investigative essay.
Gotcha. Was that kind of challenging too? Or?
I would say, much more interesting this format to me than any prior high school assignment because once again, like JK said, no set guidelines, no rubric, no topic. I get to make it my own. I get to choose my own topic and choose the way genre, the way I want to write about it. So yeah, I definitely prefer this type of writing process a lot more because of like the freedom I have.
Gosh.
But would you say I at times found that freedom kind of almost taxing? Like I couldn't pick a topic, or when I did, I like almost didn't want to end on that topic because it was something I cared about writing and I was interested in writing. Did you guys experience that?
Yeah, for my first project, once again, the Pedicexibottom, the chest condition, it's something very personal and close to me. So yeah, I can almost talk about that and write about that endlessly. So it was kind of hard knowing like when to stop and like move on to like a different subject matter, like whether I want to talk about like surgery processes or just like symptoms or like how to know that you can have this type of condition. So it was I definitely had to put like a pause in my writing, like okay, I need to move on to like the next like heading area, but overall, I still think it's much better to write about something that is personal and that you can, that you have all the knowledge about. You can share that with others that do not have that same knowledge.
And yeah, like with the investigative essay, you know, it's supposed to be really long, so I felt like there was really no sort of like set stop, if that makes sense. Sort of like I would put every single little detail that I could in there, and then like when we were peer reviewing, then I really got to know like, okay, this is what my readers want to see more of. This is like I could go without this detail, expand more, all that.
Yeah, I remember peer reviewing yours, and like outside of Grammarly, I was like, I just loved how much information you put in it. And it was amazing.
Yeah, I apologize about the grammatic errors.
That's what peer reviews are for.
It's all about peer reviews. That's all you use it for.
All about peer reviews.
Do you guys think, like, as far as English as a whole, is that something you're passionate about? Just writing?
Just writing?
Yeah.
I mean, to be completely honest with you, I would say writing is not my strong suit.
Gotcha.
Almost like a weak point.
That's
There's
fine.
just like all of my subjects that I take over the years, but I mean, it's definitely more interesting over the years to see like where my writing has, or like what it's
Yeah.
become, and just like how creative I'm getting with like all these like, especially like high school, like different topics that I'm given. I don't get to choose.
Yeah.
So that's always interesting.
So would you say, like, getting to write about stuff you're actually passionate about, does that make you, like, a little bit more, I guess, inclined to write? Or, like...
It 100% makes me more inclined to write.
Yeah.
Sometimes it almost... See, this might be a hot take, but sometimes I feel like it lessens my creativity because it's something that I, like, know inside and out.
Yeah.
And when I try to, I guess, like, share what I've learned with the readers, sometimes I try to just, like, make it easier to understand for them. So I'll, like, maybe not dive so deep into certain, like, sub areas to make it, I guess, just, like, more manageable for them to understand.
Because
It's almost like you're not fully fleshing it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You're more worried that they're not going to understand if you go too far
Exactly,
into it.
yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, just a little downside.
Yeah. Is that the same way, kind of? Like, you're, I guess, with sports, there's so many levels to it. Like, I mean, as if you're a sports fan, you could probably go super far into it that, like, they would understand it, but, like, majority of people who aren't sports fans probably don't know as much as you would know. Is that something kind of you found, I guess, what your limit was to how much you were going to write about? Or
I mean, like with every single article that anyone puts out, obviously there is unnecessarily a target audience.
Yeah.
Like, I try to put in enough detail to the point where like the people that wouldn't really know what I'm talking about would sort of get a basic understanding. But like the more people that know more about sports, like all three of you, you know, like you read it, you would understand it. Like with my article about the Jets, you know, like you're an Eagles fan, you know football, like it was a little bit easier for you to understand because we've read about those processes before. We've read about everything that goes on in the NFL inside and out, whether it goes into the business part of it or to the actual playing part of it. So, you know, I feel like my target audience was really a big thing that I really sort of had to focus on instead of trying to grasp for everyone, if that makes sense.
no, it totally makes sense.
I just want to end on a thought. Looking towards the future, do you think you're going to continue to explore new genres and learn more about your type of writing, your style, and how you can, like, kind of express yourself best? Or do you think you're going to stay, you know, kind of where you are, you're content?
No, I would say 100% I'd try to explore new genres. I mean, I've already explored a couple new ones this year, and I like how those turned out, so why not just keep exploring genres, seeing, like, where my writing takes me, and, like, comparing and contrasting how I like each one, and I guess, like, if one is easier or not to deliver, like, I guess my main message across to the audience.
That's fair. Like, I want to explore new genres. Like, I want to do a video essay, mainly. Like, we remember, like, in the beginning of the year when we had to, like, do the docs of like all the different types of genres that we would end up doing for these projects. Like the video essay really stood out because like I could again do something that I'm very passionate about, and I feel like editing stuff like I just edited our podcast. It was really fun for me. So like I feel like just editing the video would be really fun. I'd be able to, you know, just gain more skills doing that.
Totally. That's kind of cool. You think you can apply it to your, like, I guess, like,
Other parts of
future
your
life, like
yeah.
your professional life, I guess.
Yeah.
That's dope. No, that's dope.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for coming on to our podcast.
Yes,
Thank
thanks
you for having us.
Yes.
Of course, we're
course.
excited to see what you guys do in the future, and to all of you amazing fans listening, we have a little somber announcement. Funding was cut, and we
No.
don't know if we're gonna be able to do more episodes.
Mhm.
So Elon's cut funding, and
Yep.
to be frank, we can't be bothered to fund it ourselves.
So
this
is,
might be the last.
Yeah, actually, well, not might. I think this is the good finale.
This is the end.
After our, yeah.
It's been a lovely, like, what, 25 minutes with you
Yes.
over the course of these podcasts, and I'll never forget it.
Me neither. Jack and Jack.
Do you have anything to
Appreciate
say?
It was an honor to be a part of their short-lived career podcast, and maybe if the funding, you know, catches up to them in the future,
We'll
we
return.
might be invited back.
Yeah.
So,
Or
yeah.
Maybe a
reclaim the
little
throne.
maybe another collab in the future.
Wow.
Maybe,
I hear your
maybe.
podcast is going. It's going.
Our
it's going
podcast
bad.
is going places, but yeah, the
I
funding.
hear funding was cut for you guys.
Funding
as well.
may have been cut for that one, too.
we can't go into the details of it.
NDA.
Yeah, we signed the NDA, but sadly we also had to cut our podcast. But you know, the fans loved it. The fans loved it just as much as they loved yours.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just sad.
Yeah,
It really is, yeah.
it really is.
It's okay, we'll be back.
Gentlemen, we appreciate
thank you guys
being
very
here.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We won't see you guys on the next episode.